The BMW X5 hummed, a symphony of expensive engineering. Inside, Karen adjusted her sunglasses, the afternoon sun glinting off her perfectly sculpted nails. This was her time, a moment of serene escape from the chaotic world of PTA meetings and overpriced organic kale smoothies. Today's errand, a quick trip to the exclusive spa, a much-needed dose of pampering after dealing with that utterly incompetent landscaper. She felt a familiar sense of superiority, a quiet confidence that she deserved this tranquility, that her life, carefully curated and impeccably maintained, was inherently superior to the messy lives of those around her. Little did she know, this quiet drive would soon transform into a maelstrom of fury, a clash of wills that would leave her more disheveled than she'd ever been. Then it happened. A rusty minivan, driven by what appeared to be a college student with a questionable hairstyle and even more questionable driving skills, darted in front of her, forcing Karen to slam on the brakes. The screech of tires echoed in her ears, a jarring disruption to her meticulously planned day. The world tilted. The sense of control she so carefully cultivated began to unravel. This wasn't just bad driving. It was a blatant disregard for the unspoken rules of the road, a slap in the face to her carefully ordered world. Anger, hot and immediate, bloomed in her chest, a venomous flower unfurling its petals. The spa, with its promises of tranquility, seemed impossibly distant. All that mattered was the injustice, the utter audacity of that minivan driver. The world narrowed, focusing on the infuriatingly slow pace of the minivan, its very existence an affront to her refined sensibilities. This wasn't about traffic. This was about principle, about respect, about the infuriating lack of consideration shown to someone of her obvious stature. The simmering rage threatened to boil over, transforming her into something she hadn't experienced before, a human volcano about to erupt. The inevitable collision was brief, a sickening crunch of metal. It wasn't a major crash, but enough to shatter the calm of the afternoon. Karen's carefully constructed facade cracked, revealing the raw, untamed fury beneath. She stumbled out of the BMW, her perfectly coiffed hair slightly askew, her composure completely shattered. The driver of the minivan, a young woman with wide, frightened eyes, stared back, a stark contrast to Karen's burning glare. The carefully constructed world Karen had built, with its pristine order and effortless elegance, lay in ruins around her. The handbag, a symbol of her status, lay on the ground, its pristine leather marred by the dust and debris of the accident. It was a potent symbol of the damage inflicted, not just to the car, but to her carefully constructed image of herself. The meticulously planned day, the luxurious spa treatment, all vanished. The rage, however, remained, a potent force that threatened to consume her entirely. The young woman from the minivan looked on, seemingly paralyzed with fear, completely unable to comprehend the force of Karen's unleashed anger. The arrival of the police provided a momentary respite. It was a brief reprieve, a pause in the relentless storm of her emotions. Yet, even with the authority of the law present, Karen's fury only seemed to intensify. It fueled her words, her accusations, her demands, transforming her into something almost unrecognizable, a force of nature that the officers struggled to contain. The young woman remained silent, a small figure dwarfed by the sheer intensity of Karen's outburst. The damage was minimal, almost laughable in the face of Karen's over-the-top reaction. Yet the impact on Karen herself was significant. The perfectly curated life, the sense of control, the flawless image, all were irreparably damaged. The accident had exposed a raw, unfiltered anger she had kept carefully hidden beneath layers of perfectly polished surfaces. Later, sitting in her car, the once pristine vehicle now bearing a few dents and scratches, the weight of her actions began to settle. The adrenaline faded, replaced by a dull ache of regret and a creeping sense of self-awareness. The image reflected in her rearview mirror was one of disarray, a stark contrast to the polished image she'd so carefully cultivated. The luxurious spa seemed a distant, almost impossible dream. The incident left its mark, not just on the car, but deep within her soul. The afternoon sun cast long shadows as she drove home, the quiet hum of the car a stark contrast to the earlier chaos. The incident had exposed a side of her she had tried to suppress, revealing a vulnerability beneath the facade of polished perfection. The drive home wasn't a serene escape, but a journey of self-reflection, a slow, painful process of confronting the fury she'd unleashed and the consequences of her actions. The day ended not in tranquility, but in the quiet hum of regret. The handbag, a symbol of her carefully constructed identity, now bore the scars of the afternoon's events, a tangible reminder of the day her perfectly curated world cracked. It was a symbol of her fragility, of the hidden anger that had erupted, and the long journey of self-reflection and perhaps even self-acceptance that lay ahead. The incident, seemingly small in itself, had triggered a profound shift within her, a silent awakening to the human fallibility she'd always so diligently attempted to conceal. The spa would have to wait. She had far more pressing issues to address.